Trump signs no taxes for Social Security, plus new fourth stimulus check for all 60-plus seniors.
Ever signed into law the Social Security Act of 1935, and we're going to make it stronger, bigger, and better.
The news broke across America in the early hours of the morning. Donald Trump, in a decisive move that has sent shockwaves through the political and financial world, has officially signed into law a sweeping reform that eliminates all federal taxes on Social Security benefits. In the same stroke of the pen, the president authorized a brand new fourth stimulus payment targeted directly at Americans aged 60 and above. For millions of retirees, seniors, and soon-to-be retirees, the announcement represents not just a financial windfall, but a moment of vindication after decades of frustration over how Washington has handled Social Security. Across the country, seniors woke up to headlines they had been hoping to see for years. No more taxes on your Social Security benefits, and $20,400 relief check for all 60-plus Americans. Television screens replayed the signing ceremony from the Oval Office, where Trump sat flanked by economic advisors, congressional allies, and a row of senior citizens invited to witness history. The room erupted in applause when the bill was finalized. The president, in typical Trump fashion, held up the signed document and declared, "This is your money, you earned it, and from now on, Washington isn't taking it back." For decades, retirees have complained that taxing Social Security benefits amounted to double taxation. After all, these benefits are funded by payroll taxes paid during working years. The system, in the eyes of many, was unjust. Retirees paid into it with every paycheck, only to see the federal government take another cut once they began receiving monthly benefits. Trump's new law ends that practice entirely. Starting next month, the IRS will no longer withhold any federal taxes from Social Security payments, meaning seniors will see their monthly deposits increase automatically. Financial experts estimate that the average Social Security recipient will save between $1,500 and $5,000 per year, depending on their benefit amount and tax bracket. For lower-income seniors, the impact will be immediate and life-changing. For those living on fixed incomes, that extra money could mean affording better health care, paying for home repairs, or simply enjoying a less stressful retirement. But the surprise announcement didn't stop there. Alongside the tax elimination came the unveiling of the Senior Relief Stimulus, a one-time $20,400 direct payment to every American aged 60 and older. The funds, according to the White House, are meant to offset the rising cost of living, including medical expenses, housing, and food prices that have spiked in recent years. Unlike previous stimulus checks that phased out for higher-income households, this payment will go to all seniors in the eligible age group, regardless of income. Banks and direct deposit systems are already preparing for the mass payment rollout, which the Treasury Department says will begin within 4 weeks. Paper checks will be sent to those without bank accounts, while most seniors will see the money land directly in their accounts the same way they receive Social Security. Treasury officials have confirmed that these payments will not be taxable, will not count as income for federal benefits programs, and will not reduce SNAP, Medicaid, or other assistance for low-income recipients. Economists are already calling this package one of the most aggressive senior-focused financial reforms in American history. Supporters argue that this move will not only give seniors more disposable income, but also stimulate the economy through increased spending. Critics, however, have voiced concerns about the long-term fiscal impact on the federal budget, warning that such sweeping tax cuts and stimulus payouts could increase the national deficit. In towns and cities from Florida to California, the reaction has been overwhelmingly celebratory. In retirement communities, residents gathered in clubhouses to watch the televised signing, cheering as Trump declared the era of taxed benefits officially over. In one senior center in Ohio, a woman in her 70s wiped away tears as she told reporters, "I've been waiting for this day since I first started collecting Social Security. It feels like justice." Congressional allies of the president praised the move as a fulfillment of a long-standing promise. For years, Republican lawmakers had campaigned on the idea of removing federal taxes from Social Security, but the measure had repeatedly stalled in committee or been blocked by budgetary objections. With Trump's renewed influence in Washington and strong voter support from older Americans, the political momentum finally reached a breaking point. The legislation passed through Congress with remarkable speed, aided by bipartisan pressure from constituents who had grown increasingly vocal about the issue. Even some Democrats from senior-heavy districts crossed party lines to support the bill, citing overwhelming demand from their voters. The combination of tax relief and a direct cash payment proved politically irresistible. White House officials say this package is only the beginning of broader retirement reforms on the administration's agenda. Plans are already in motion for expanding Medicare coverage, increasing cost of living adjustments, QLA, for Social Security, and creating new incentives for retirement savings. But for now, the focus is on implementing the changes signed into law today. For the average senior, the immediate question is simple: when will I see the money? The IRS has confirmed that the removal of taxes will be automatic. Seniors do not need to fill out any forms or applications. The Chang will reflect in the very next monthly payment cycle. The stimulus, meanwhile, will be distributed in waves, starting with those who receive Social Security or SSI, followed by other eligible seniors. Treasury officials anticipate that 90% of recipients will have the funds in their hands within a month. Financial advisors are urging seniors to be cautious with the windfall, especially the one-time stimulus. Some recommend using the funds to pay down debt, set aside emergency savings, or address long-delayed healthcare needs. Others encourage enjoying the money, taking a trip, making a home upgrade, or helping family members. One key element of the legislation that has gained attention is its permanent nature. Unlike temporary tax suspensions or limited stimulus programs of the past, this law permanently removes federal taxation from Social Security benefits. There is no expiration date, no trial period. The change is here to stay unless repealed by a future Congress, which would likely face fierce political backlash. For millions of seniors who have felt overlooked in the nation's economic policies, today's announcement feels like a long-awaited recognition of their contributions. They worked for decades, paid into the system, and are now finally seeing the government deliver a retirement policy that truly benefits them. Whether this move will reshape political loyalties in the upcoming elections remains to be seen, but there is no doubt that Trump's signing of this law has cemented his standing with America's senior population. Trump launches new Social Security. No tax for seniors. Biggest change since 1935. For the first time in nearly a century, Social Security is facing a transformation so sweeping that it could redefine how millions of seniors experience retirement. President Donald Trump has announced a proposal that, if implemented, would completely remove federal taxes on Social Security benefits for seniors. Supporters are calling it the biggest change since Franklin D. Roosevelt created Social Security in 1935, while critics are already raising. Social Security, born during the Great Depression, was designed to provide a financial safety net for retirees, disabled Americans, and survivors of deceased workers. Since its inception, it has been funded through payroll taxes, and for decades, benefits were tax-free. But in 1983, under President Ronald Reagan, amendments introduced federal taxation on Social Security benefits for higher-income retirees. Over the years, more and more middle-class seniors have found themselves paying taxes on their benefits, as the income thresholds were never adjusted for inflation. Trump's announcement seeks to change that by eliminating these taxes entirely. According to Trump's statement, the plan would immediately exempt all seniors from paying federal taxes on their Social Security checks, regardless of their total retirement income. You've worked hard, you've paid in your entire life, and you deserve every penny, tax-free, Trump declared at a rally packed with cheering retirees. He framed the move as both a moral correction and an economic boost, arguing that it would put more money in seniors' pockets to spend in local communities, thus stimulating the economy. The announcement comes in the lead-up to Social Security's 90th anniversary, set for August 2025. Trump has described the change as a symbolic gift to mark the occasion, tying his proposal to the original vision of Social Security as a guaranteed, untaxed benefit. When FDR created Social Security, it wasn't meant to be taxed, Trump told the crowd. We're bringing it back to the way it was supposed to be. Economists say the impact could be massive. According to preliminary estimates from nonpartisan policy analysts, eliminating taxes on Social Security benefits could increase the average retiree's annual income by $2,000 to $6,000, depending on their benefit level and other sources of income. For couples who both receive Social Security, the change could result in several $1,000s more per year, money that could be used to pay for medical bills, home repairs, or simply to improve their quality of life. Supporters of Trump's proposal are framing it as a win-win, a relief for seniors who are feeling the squeeze of inflation, and a political move that could boost voter enthusiasm in swing states with large retiree populations like Florida, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. Senior advocacy groups, including some that have historically leaned Democratic, are already signaling support for the idea. Taxing Social Security was always unfair, said a spokesperson for the National Seniors Coalition. This proposal would finally right that wrong. However, the plan faces significant questions about funding. Federal taxes on Social Security benefits currently bring in billions of dollars each year, revenue that is used to support the Social Security and Medicare trust funds. Removing that revenue would require either replacing it with other tax sources, reducing government spending in other areas, or allowing the national deficit to grow. Critics argue that without a clear funding mechanism, the proposal could speed up the projected depletion of the Social Security Trust Fund, which is already estimated to run short by the mid-2030s. Democratic lawmakers and fiscal hawks have already voiced concerns. This is a politically popular idea, but it's also a dangerous one if we don't have a plan to pay for it, said Senator Elizabeth Warren. Others have accused Trump of using the proposal as a campaign tactic without fully addressing the long-term financial implications. Some progressive economists have suggested alternatives, such as raising or eliminating the Social Security payroll tax cap, currently set at $168,600, so that higher earners contribute more. Trump, for his part, insists the program will remain solvent. He has hinted at redirecting funds from other parts of the federal budget, including foreign aid and what he calls wasteful government programs, to offset the loss of revenue from Social Security taxation. His campaign has also floated the idea of expanding domestic energy production to generate additional federal tax income. The political reaction has been intense. Conservative media outlets have hailed the plan as a game changer and a return to traditional Republican values of rewarding hard work and self-reliance. Liberal commentators have accused Trump of offering short-term sugar highs at the expense of fiscal responsibility. The announcement has dominated political talk shows, with debates raging over whether it's a bold reform or a reckless gamble. For everyday seniors, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. Many retirees have taken to social media to share how much the tax removal would mean for their lives. One Florida grandmother wrote, "I've been paying taxes on money I already paid taxes on decades ago. It's like getting double charged. This change would finally give me a little breathing room." A retired steelworker in Ohio said, "It's about time someone did something for people who actually built this country." The proposal also comes at a time when Social Security recipients are still adjusting to record-high cost of living adjustments, COLAs, from the past 2 years, driven by inflation. While those increases helped offset higher grocery, housing, and energy costs, many retirees say it still hasn't been enough. Trump's plan to remove taxes on benefits could combine with future COLA increases to create a substantial boost in net retirement income. Policy experts note that the plan, if implemented, could have ripple effects beyond the senior population. Younger workers, knowing their benefits would be tax-free in the future, might view Social Security more positively. This could increase support for maintaining and even expanding the program. On the flip side, eliminating the tax could also intensify the funding debate, forcing future administrations to make tough decisions about revenue and spending. Social Security has long been called the third rail of American politics. Touch it, and you risk political death. But Trump has shown a willingness to take big swings on the issue. During his presidency, he repeatedly promised not to cut Social Security benefits, and now he's going further by promising to make them tax-free. Whether Congress, especially the Senate, will go along with the plan remains uncertain. The proposal would require legislative approval, meaning it will likely become a major battleground in Washington in the coming months. Some political strategists are already predicting that this proposal will force President Biden and other Democratic leaders to respond with their own senior-focused policies ahead of the 2024 election. If Democrats oppose the tax removal, they risk alienating older voters. If they support it, they hand Trump a political victory. The issue could reshape the electoral map, making seniors one of the most courted demographics of the campaign season. This isn't the first time tax-free Social Security benefits have been proposed. Several lawmakers over the years have introduced similar bills, but none gained enough traction to pass. Trump's announcement, however, comes with a unique combination of timing, the 90th anniversary of Social Security, and political clout, making it harder for opponents to dismiss outright. If enacted, the change would take effect starting in January 2026, giving the Social Security Administration time to adjust payment systems and tax reporting procedures. Retirees would see the difference in their monthly checks immediately, with no federal withholding deducted. For some, this could mean an extra $150 to $500 per month in take-home income. Trump has already begun framing the proposal as part of a broader America First retirement plan that he says will protect seniors from economic uncertainty, inflation, and political instability. In addition to eliminating taxes on benefits, the plan reportedly includes measures to cap prescription drug prices for seniors and expand access to Medicare Advantage plans. Details on these additional measures are expected in the coming weeks. The announcement has also sparked renewed interest in the history of Social Security. Historians note that when the program began in 1935, benefits were never intended to be taxed, and the shift in the 1980s was seen by many as a betrayal of the program's original promise. Trump's proposal taps into that nostalgia, presenting himself as restoring Social Security to its pure form. Yet questions remain about the broader economic implications. Will removing taxes on benefits contribute to inflation by increasing consumer spending? Could it push the national debt higher if alternative revenue sources fail to materialize? And perhaps most importantly, will it pass Congress in its current form or be watered down in negotiations? As the political battle heats up, one thing is clear. The conversation around Social Security is changing. For the first time in decades, a major political figure is proposing a bold shift that would directly and immediately increase seniors' incomes. Whether you see it as a necessary correction or a risky gamble, it's a proposal that has the potential to reshape retirement in America for generations to come. President Donald Trump on Sunday night reiterated an extraordinary ambition he and members of his administration have voiced from time to time throughout his young second term. One day, Americans won't pay any more income tax, and you'll have Trump's tariffs to thank for it. We're going to make a lot of money, and we're going to cut taxes for the people of this country, Trump said before boarding Air Force One for his return from Pope Francis's funeral in Rome. It'll take a little while before we do that, but we're going to be cutting taxes, and it's possible we'll do a complete tax cut, because I think the tariffs will be enough to cut all of the income tax. No one likes paying income taxes, but any plan to replace them with tariffs as a source of government revenue would be riddled with problems. To start, tariffs would need to be exceedingly high, significantly higher than the already historic levels at which the Trump administration has set them today. The federal government raises about $3 trillion a year from income taxes. The United States also happens to import around $3 trillion worth of goods annually. So that means tariffs would have to be at least 100% on all imported goods for the levies to replace income taxes, said Torsten Slok, chief economist at Apollo Global Management, in a note to investors. The United States effective tariff rate now stands at 22.8%, according to Fitch Ratings. So to take the place of income taxes, tariffs would need to be more than 4 times higher than they are now. And America's new tariff rate is already by far the highest of any developed country, and has threatened to plunge the U.S. and global economies into a recession. But replacing all that tax revenue is not even as simple as doubling the price of everything that comes into America, Slok notes. As prices rise, demand trails off. That's why America's largest companies this earnings season have said that Trump's trade policies are raising costs and leading consumers to spend less on practically everything, from airline tickets to burritos.